everyone to our webinar today, Managing Risks in Outsourced Clinical Trials, Practical Approaches and Tools. My name is Liz Wool, as you know, and I am here at Barnett as the Global Head of Training. And I have been in the healthcare industry for about 37 years. I've been in research for over 26 years in various roles in sponsors, CROs, as well as training and consulting. I am an invited speaker in a number of areas on education and training in the profession, as well as being a compliance and vendor management consultant as well in some of my previous roles prior to coming to Barnett in training. And what we would like to do today is to, first of all, perform an audience poll, get some information about you and your needs, review our learning objectives, look at a definition for risk. It's very important if we're looking at risk that we define that, and that your organization will then have a standard definition moving forward if you don't already. We're going to look at some FDA communications regarding CRO and vendor selection and oversight. And I want to bring these in to you because oftentimes if you don't get to the meetings where they present, you're not aware of some of their observations. Their observations are going to be shared with you so you can see those as a proactive way to assess risk so that you wouldn't not have those risks in your clinical trials. We're going to do an overview of a risk management framework attributes, benchmarking to ISO 31000. We're just going to do a very high-level overview, just letting people understand that there's an infrastructure that coincides with managing for risk in your programs. We're then going to do a deep dive into risks in outsourced trials and some very targeted topics, perform a risk assessment, and then just review some general observations in managing risks with our partners, with our vendors, because they are our vendors, they are our partners. And it's very important to understand because in today's clinical trial landscape, you are increasingly reliant on our third-party providers, such as academic research organizations, CROs, specialty vendors, clinical labs, imaging vendors, and other study-specific vendors. And therefore, you're going to be learning today as we go throughout all of this, what is the risk in your organization? I'm going to share with you how to assess risks in your vendors proactively, or if you're currently using them, how you can go about that. Because all of this relates into sole responsibility of the trial, shared responsibility for the clinical trial, and managing that over some of those risks. What we're also going to share with you here at the very beginning is that in November 2016, the International Council of Harmonization released ICH-GCP E6 Revision 2, an integrated addendum. And I'm going to share with you a very specific section today on CRO and vendor oversight. However, I do want you to know that this new guideline that was released, it is has not been published in the United States yet. It has now been published and implemented into law in the European Union as of June of this year. But I want you to understand that has a huge section on sponsor quality management, which is what we understand as risk management in clinical trials and clinical programs. So you also have that document, depending upon what type of products you're working with, that may apply as well. It can also be a reference point as well as you're looking at clinical trial risks in more depth after today's webinar. And again, what I want to also share with you today, we're also going to provide you with different approaches and different tools out there. The Clinical Trials Transformation Initiative and Transcelerate at looking at risks on a holistic level for your clinical trials. So we're going to have a lot of information today, but then again, some additional information available for you as well. We're going to look at a few of those today.